Hi mummies to be, Trudy here, and welcome to the strengthening exercises. This video is to complement the stretching exercises video. It's just a generic strengthening exercises video which is aimed to strengthen those muscles which are traditionally weakened during our pregnancy. So make sure you do have doctor's permission to do this. It is safe to do through all trimesters of the pregnancy, and of course as you progress through your pregnancy in your third trimester, you want to make sure that you take longer rest breaks, drink more, take your time, listen to your body. The first thing we're going to do is Kegels. You've probably heard this so many times. You're like, I don't know how many more Kegels I can do. They want me to do thousands of them a day. Well, you're not going to really see anything, but I can try and describe it for you so that you do have the imagery and you are reminded throughout the day to do those Kegels. The Kegel exercise is really from your pelvic floor. It's those deep muscles. They're using the toilet muscles. So when you're going to the toilet, try and think stopping at midstream. It's those muscles that you're using. You can't see anything from the outside. So even when you're doing a Kegel at work or in the car, no one can even tell that you're doing it. And that's a really good idea. Every time you get an email, do a Kegel. Every time you get to a red light, do a Kegel. Every time there's a commercial on television, do a Kegel. Okay, so practice perfect posture, switch those pelvic floor muscles on, and try and hold it for 10 seconds. Try and do at least 50 a day. It will help in your recovery and tighten everything up ASAP as soon as you've had that baby. You can do Kegels seated, you can do Kegels standing, you can do them however you like. So just do them. Moving on to pelvic tilts. Now you can do this seated or standing. I'm going to do it seated. I'm actually 31 weeks pregnant at the time of filming. So well into my third trimester and definitely counting down to when I have my baby boy, my second. Pelvic tilts, what you're going to do, feet out in front. You can do this on a ball, on a chair, but preferably on a ball or standing. Perfect posture, line up your hips so they're my two hip bones, everything's nice and square, shoulders back and down. And all that's going to happen is my pelvis is going to tilt side to side. But what I'm doing is I'm using my pelvic floor muscles, also doing a Kegel at the same time, and I'm going to twist side to side. I'm kind of lifting up one butt cheek, if that's a better imagery for you. Lifting up one butt cheek at a time, and this loosens up the lower spine and also uses those core muscles which are traditionally weakened in our pregnancy. There we go. Whew. Always breathing. And from the pelvic tilts, I go side to side, and I can also go forwards and back. So I just did side to side. I'm now going to go forwards and back. So I tilt my pelvis under, and then I stick my butt out. Tilt my pelvis under, stick my butt out. Remembering that body zipper, sitting up tall, shoulders back. Moving your pelvis. Once again, those core muscles are switched on. And there we go. Try and do 15 to 20 each direction. You can't do too much of these. It's a small movement, but it's a really good strengthening exercise because it gets stuck into those deeper muscles, the multifidus, transverse abdominis, and those really deep pelvic floor muscles, which we want to keep nice and strong. So we've done side to side, forward and back, and now we're going to do big circles. So hip circles, still up tall. This is a good one, feels good. You're basically just making a big circle with your hips. 10 one way and 10 the other. Big circles, loosening up those hips. Let your sit bones be on the ball at all time and your core switched on the whole time. And from here you can remain seated. You can take it into what I'm going to call Buster Move. This is to correct and strengthen those muscles that are weakened from the weight going forward. the scapular retractors, okay? So the muscles behind your shoulder blades. If you're an advanced exerciser or you're a little bit strong or you're having a high energy day, as we know we have high energy days and low energy days, you can grab 2 pound or 3 pound dumbbells. Probably not want to go too much higher than that. Shoulders are back and down. Remember that if my hands replicate your shoulder blades are going to go back and down so that you're sticking your chest out and stretching through your rotator cuff there. And nice rhomboid interaction, activation there. Okay, there we go, perfect posture. Keep your wrists out in front, make a nice diamond shape with your arms. Opening up the chest, and then we have a double movement here. From here we're going to open up our forearms, bring it back and together. So we're really forcing our upper back muscles to work. Also working a little bit through the shoulders, the deltoids, anterior deltoid, which is the front of the shoulder. And we are contracting our rhomboids at the same time. So I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. Sitting up tall, opening up here, so you're going to see and feel this switch on here, which is what you want, okay? Opening up, holding that, switching it on, opening it up, coming back and together. Excellent. Of course, you can do that one arm at a time as well if you're having a low energy day. So that's called bust a move. Excellent work. From here, we're going to take it into a squat. Moving on to the squat. This is a great exercise to strengthen up your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, and also your back extensors. So this is a great exercise because all those muscles weaken through the pregnancy, and this one exercise strengthens all those muscles. Now, a good point to add is that if you do have diastasis recti, which is the separation of the abdominal wall there, separate video for that to find out if you do have it or not, or you can check with your obstetrician. But if you do have diastasis recti, or if you just want a lower intensity alternative, you can do this using a ball down the wall as well. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate both. First of all, perfect squat position. As you get more and more pregnant, you can widen your stance a little bit, but try to keep your feet about hip width or just a little bit more than hip width apart. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me here. I'm 31 weeks, so I'm going to be a little bit wider than hip width apart. My toes are facing forward, I've got perfect posture. The first thing to move are going to be my hips, okay? So shoulders are back, perfect posture. Hips are going to move backwards, and my butt is going to lower toward the ground. So I'm going to go down toward the ground and come back up. Now the weight of my body is nice and even through my heels of my feet, so my weight's back, not going over the top of my knees. I should be able to see the tops of my toes if I can, depending on how big your baby is. All the way down. And if you're not feeling it, just don't go so low. You never want to go lower than 90 degrees in your leg, okay? Now I'm obviously very pregnant right now, so I'm not going to be able to get that low. And that's where it really comes in handy to use the ball up against the wall, okay? So grab an exercise ball. It doesn't have to be a big one like this, it can be a small one. You're going to pop the ball in the small of your back. It will roll. Same thing. Legs, hip width or a little bit wider apart. Toes facing forward, hips facing forward. Perfect posture. Lean a little bit against the ball, but not too much. And let the ball guide you. Go down, hold it, and come back up. Rolling down, and come back up. You might find that you can go a little bit lower with the ball as well, and also use the ball if you do have diastasis recti. I'm starting to feel this already. Really good. It just really helps with your confidence as well, particularly if you're new to exercise. So that's the perfect squat. Our last two generic strengthening exercises are going to involve a lot of core work and some stability work. So it's not an intense exercise, but something that you really need to develop those deeper core muscles. The first one is what we call a bird dog. It's a very odd name, I know, but bear with me. If you do have carpal tunnel, which some pregnant ladies do actually get through the wrist, carpal tunnel through the wrist, you're welcome to do these in a neutral alignment position with your wrists, which means that your wrists are going to be like so rather than like that, so I'll take any pain out. To do that, grab some dumbbells and you can pop your hands on the dumbbells like so. Okay, so the bird dog, you don't have to use weights, you can do it without the weights. So the first one I'll demonstrate without weights. You want to position your body into all fours, making sure that your wrist is under your shoulder height, so that your wrist is not here or here, directly under your shoulder. Your knees are hip width apart, perfect posture, neutral spine, neck is relaxed. You're going to use your opposite arm and your opposite leg and extend out. What's going to happen is you're forced to use your core muscles for balance and stability. So here we go, weight transfer. I'm using my opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping my position, extending out as far as I can, holding that and coming in. Good weight transfer, switching it to the other side. You may find one side's harder than the other, and that's quite common. That's why we do it. Coming back down. Now, of course, if you're having a high energy day, or you're feeling good, or you're advanced and you think, it's way too easy, I can do more, grab a light dumbbell in your hand, extend, bring it in, and then keep doing the same side. Okay, so you want to lengthen your arm, lengthen your leg, and of course, if you have ankle weights, you can do the double whammy and you can have a hand weight and an ankle weight to really get that intensity up. Okay. So once again, if you've got carpal tunnel, you can use dumbbells and create a neutral spine position. So this is if you do have wrist problems or carpal tunnel, you're going to be in this position. Exactly the same, but just keeping your wrist in that strong, neutral position. From the bird dog, we're going to take it into our last exercise, yay, and do the cat and camel. This is a little bit of a stretch exercise as well. Same thing, you're going to stay in the same position, wrists under shoulders, rotating from your pelvis first, come up into a nice big cat stretch, tuck your pelvis under, keep your core muscles switched on, lengthen through the spine, separate your shoulder blades, let your head drop down, keep breathing, hard to do when you're talking at the same time, like me, and then you completely reverse it. So you sink in the middle, your pelvis sticks out, and your chin is up. Once again, we're going to go back into that cat stretch. Arching your back up, arching your spine up toward the ceiling, feet are relaxed, core muscles switched on, and reverse it, one vertebra at a time, sinking down into that as much as you can, opening up your chest, squeezing your shoulder blades together. And look, you're welcome to do as many of them as you feel comfortable because it does feel so good. This is the end of the strengthening exercises. There's many more workouts for you, which are a little bit more intense, but this is one to do just to strengthen those typically weakened muscles that we get throughout the pregnancy. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next video.